Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone from tarotforhealing.com. I hope you guys are doing really well. This is your monthly astrological reading for the month of August. This is for Pisces. And before I get into your reading, I wanted to let you guys know that I am doing a 5-card discounted reading offer on my website. So do go to my website and check it out. It's a good opportunity if you haven't had a reading done by me before to have one done for the first time at a reduced price. And if you have had a reading done by me before, I'll be more than welcome to reconnect with you and read for you. So do go and see about that in the description box below. Now, I am still using the playing cards because quite a few of you guys seem to really enjoy those. I was going to switch it up completely this month, but I was like, let me just stick to it because I don't want anyone to be mad at me for changing things. And then to get into the more specific areas of your life, I am going to be using the Victorian Steampunk Tarot. So your first playing card is the Three of Hearts with the Ace of Clubs, with the Ten of Clubs, with a Five of Hearts. So what I see in your playing cards is it starts off almost like there is some kind of something positive that comes through, some kind of celebration, something that makes you happy, and it's a new opportunity. So it almost could be a new work opportunity. It could be something new that comes in your life by way of maybe even like the first thing that came to mind when I looked at these cards is it could even be if you was to find out your partner was bearing a child or carrying a child when you is some kind of positive news. But the only thing about it is that the reading kind of switches. It's like the two first cards that shows up shows some kind of positive news, positive development, something that's come through that can cause a feeling of excitement or joy, but then it goes straight into these kind of more uh challenging cards where it's kind of showing that you what started off being positive or what on the surface kind of made you happy, it was kind of exciting, now it's turning into responsibility. Now it's become hard work, and because it's become hard work, you might almost be like either regretting it, not to say that you will regret if your partner is pregnant or anything like that, but sometimes these are just emotions that just come up, and we can't really do anything about that. It's just sort of how we feel towards things. Sometimes it can be that something is positive, but maybe it just didn't seem like the correct time. Sometimes it can be positive on the surface, but maybe you didn't know all the information you needed to know. Maybe the circumstances was different beforehand. But then what I'm seeing is almost like something that can bring about happiness in the beginning. It turns into, when you hit the reality of it, it's like, oh my gosh, there is more to this situation than what I really thought. And then it might turn into, how do I manage this? How do I get through this? And then it's almost like you might start to see more of the negative of the situation than the positive of the situation. And so it could so it could almost be uh a bit like, I don't want to say like a booby price because that sounds really terrible, but it can almost be like that. Like it seems good on the surface, but then there's more to it. So what I would say is, I'm kind of feeling like this is something that it's almost like it's gonna take place. So in the beginning, I was gonna say maybe there's a way that you can avoid this, but I'm kind of feeling like it's already kind of been done, like it's already been set, and so this is just something that's just gonna show up for you, and you might just have to just work through it. For some of you, it could be connected with your work situation, because in your work situation you have the Devil card, and the Devil card, it can represent just that. Like it can represent when you enter into an agreement or something and it seems like good on the surface, but then it's like once you read the fine print, it's like, this isn't what I thought it would be. So I would say this month, definitely read the fine print of any contract you sign in terms of work or a financial contract, something to do with money or whatever. I would say, so kind of be careful, because it can speak of agreements that later on you may not be that pleased with. The Devil card can be good in finances and money if everything is if you're fully aware of what you're getting yourself into. But again, it's if you're fully aware to do something strictly for the gain of it. Like, this isn't a card that shows up when you are very ethical or moral when it comes to your behavior. Like, if you just want to be like plenty of them big time companies are, where they're just after the money and they're not really so concerned about the workers, or they're not too concerned about the people they sell products to, or the effects it has on the environment or anything like that, then you're kind of okay if you don't mind being in a position like that. For me, I don't, I'm not trying to say it to be judgmental, but we're all here on this earth for different reasons. You get what I'm saying? Some people are going to be very much like, no, I won't do this, like, I have my standards, I won't do certain things, blah blah blah. Other people, they're not so much like that. And the devil card can be sometimes even feeling tempted by something. So it could be, again, something that seems really good, like you're tempted to do it, but then there's something that comes behind it at the same time, which you have to deal with, which may be undesirable. The devil card can also be like when you feel stuck in a situation. It can be an unhealthy situation, an unhealthy environment. So for some of you guys, you might be feeling like that maybe in your workspace. Maybe you're feeling like, I want to be free of this situation, I don't want to be stuck here. Maybe you've even tried to get out of the situation, but maybe you just find that it's difficult, maybe because of financial reasons you have to stay in that position. Or maybe you're even feeling restricted in terms of your own progress. Like, maybe you've been wanting to progress in the company you're in, and you're finding that the management and stuff isn't really helping you to progress, and they're kind of keeping you at the same level, or keeping you doing sort of medial jobs, maybe repetitive jobs that you don't really like to do. um so August might be a time where you want to be free, but it's going to be hard to be free of that situation if that's really what you want to do. um Again, but it depends on you, depends on your circumstances as well. But then, so it might be a time where you kind of have to ride this energy out a bit. um yeah, you may have to sort of ride this energy out. But what I would just say is, if at this point you can kind of I would definitely say, like, if I had to give you any advice with this card showing up, is just make sure you know everything you're getting into before you fully get into it. Like, if there's anything you're given to read it all the way through before signing on the dotted line. Or, you know, just try to go into everything eyes wide open, I would say, with the devil card showing up there. Um, for those of you that are in relationships, you have the Seven of Dragonflies, which is the Seven of Cups. This card has been stalking the majority of readings, so I think I'm gonna probably do um I was gonna say Facebook, but I think I'm gonna do a post on it on my website, because usually when cards show up, it's something is going on, like something is behind this energy of this card. And I've said this in a number of other readings where it's shown up. This card is an interesting one, because it's kind of, anywhere it shows up, it sort of can represent things not being very clear. So it could be that you're in a relationship that you're not very certain of. You're not certain of how that person feels about you. Or it could be the other way around. You might not be sure about how you feel about them. It also could be a card where, again, you can be maybe even fantasizing maybe about somebody else, or having potential suitors around you even though you are in a relationship. But also, what this card could be saying is that maybe you have to face some realities of things. The interesting thing is that even though this card is a bit like that, it's sort of got that sort of Neptune energy to it, because this card does sort of connect with your element, with Pisces. And so it can almost represent being dreamy as well, and again, having a lot of fantasies. The only thing I would say is that it's okay with being dreamy and having fantasies, but make sure that your fantasies are not, you're not putting them on your partner. because sometimes, we can get so caught up in sort of the make believe of a situation, or what we would desire, what we would like to experience, that we start to compare our actual relationship with that fantasy. And so is, what I would say is, be careful of not doing that, because of course anything that you dream up is going to seem perfect. Let's be honest. It's gonna seem perfect for you. But in relationships, it actually takes the ability to be able to really learn somebody's way, grow with them, having tolerance, understanding of one another. All of that stuff, again, it doesn't buy into the fantasy of a relationship. It more buys into the reality of a relationship. So, yeah, if it's showing up that way, like, be careful of that, doing that kind of thing. How it also can be showing up for you is, maybe you and your partner may be connecting or having shared fantasies or shared desires, that the two of you have. If that's okay, if that's happening, then that's all right. Because I feel like once you're kind of once it's a joint situation, exploring fantasies and stuff like that, it can actually be quite pleasant. But I think if it's just you, um and sort of putting it onto somebody else, or somebody else putting it onto you, then, like, I think it can be a bit of a messed up situation when it's done in that kind of way. um I'm also feeling something else coming through with this card. It came to my mind when I was talking. Now, what was that? Now, yeah, also what I'm seeing with this card is that it can be showing to it can be showing, where emotions are kind of, they're very much involved in a relationship, so that side of things can be really good also. Or another thing with this card is, also make sure your actions are in line with the things that you say, or the things that you promise, because sometimes this card can represent somebody that likes to promise the earth but doesn't really show up when it comes to actually doing what they say they're going to do. So, which again can cause, issues. So be careful of that with this card as well. When it comes to those of you that are single, you have the moon card. The moon card could be saying, um the first the first thing that came to mind when I looked at this card is, I felt like there was a loneliness attached to this card. So it could be saying that maybe some of you guys are really wanting a relationship. Maybe you've been finding that you spend a bit more time by yourself, and not so much with other people. So August might be a time where you maybe don't socialize so much, but I feel like it's going to be intentional. But if there is kind of a sadness or a loneliness, I would say, do try to sort of socialize a bit more if you possibly can. And the other thing with this card is it can represent deep feelings and emotions that is felt for somebody else, but I feel like maybe this person doesn't know. Maybe you haven't told this person about it, because the moon card could also represent things that aren't brought to the light, things that resonate within yourself, but you don't really show on the outside. The other thing I would say is, when I look at these cards together, especially this card showing up under the Seven of Dragonflies, it can be saying that there might be some things that are unknown to you when it comes to love. I don't know if it's somebody that you're kind of, again, unsure of how they feel about you, or you're just in the dark about this individual. But the moon card, I would say, when it shows up, it shows that you and this person have to get to know each other better, because there's something that is sort of underneath the surface that isn't being shown. So if you do meet somebody, or you are kind of talking to somebody already, but you're not like officially in a relationship, I would kind of say to, yeah, spend more time getting to know them, so that everything is revealed, everything is shown, because there might be something that is going on behind the scenes, um, that kind of needs to come up. Another thing I would say is do be careful again with sort of illusions and delusions when this card shows up. The same thing with the seven of dragonflies as well. So I would say it's a similar message for those of you that are single or in partnerships about really focusing on the reality of things. Sometimes with these energies you can get so caught up in emotions and so caught up in sort of a dream like state. I feel like you're going to be very dreamy this month, Pisces. Very dreamy, very living in your mind a lot. Um, and for you, that may not be entirely like it's not going to be a bad thing for you, because that's kind of a part of your nature as well. Because this card connects really close to you as well, because this is ruled by Cancer, which is your fellow water sign. So but the only thing is, sometimes when you have so much water energy, like so much, so much, so much, it can be like you're not being balanced. So it's like the air energy that sort of brings in the logic isn't showing up so much in your reading. So it could be saying that maybe you kind of need to. Oh, actually, you the next card is a swords card, so that is actually good. So maybe that will cause a better balance actually, because without it, it can mean that you just are just swimming in just emotions, 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 and it's sort of the logic goes out the window, and you're just strictly just kind of just doing things and sometimes, and emotions can be good, they have their benefits, but then sometimes it can mean that you're not seeing the full picture of a situation, um especially when the moon card shows up with the seven of dragonflies. So logic and knowledge and understanding, all of that kind of stuff definitely has to be focused on as well to sort of balance out this energy. But then it shows that that's going to be okay, because you have the ace of bees, which is the ace of swords. So it, and this is your spirit card. So what it's kind of saying is maybe spiritually you're gonna have to cut through some of that illusion and delusion kind of energy that can be showing up around you, even if it's not you sort of uh having that energy. Sorry, I have to move my leg, it's just like so uncomfortable. But even if it's not you like being like that way, you're experiencing other people being that way with you. So do be careful of people not being quite what they seem as well in August. But then I feel like, because this is your spiritual card, I think that you'll be able to see that as well. I don't think that you're gonna be like entirely suckered in by it. So trust what you feel within yourself. Again, try to step back from being highly emotional and just letting your heart just dive straight into something and think things through. Like, if you have somebody in your life, think about how they treat you, how that person interacts with you, how they speak to you. Because sometimes a person can act like, okay, they love you, they're in it for you, all this other stuff, and yet their behavior can show something completely different. But if you're just caught up in the emotions and you're caught up in their words, you might be convinced by what they have to say. That's just an example. But so what this card can be reflecting is that, again, it's like there has to be this balance between the emotions and the logical side of self, and to see things with a clear picture and a clear understanding. But I do think that this card is good for you, because where some of these other cards have been challenging, the ace of swords is almost like saying you can cut through the challenges through your own spirituality. And your spirituality is what is your true essence of yourself, the true essence of you, what makes up you. Whoever you are watching this video, what is your true essence, and being in tune with that essence. And I feel like when an ace card shows up, when as a spiritual card, it's sort of saying something within yourself is almost like being ignited. And what it is your one is the swords energy being ignited within you. So it's kind of saying depend on that logical side of self as well, to be able to carry you through in the month of August. Because also, when I look at this, the devil, this swords energy can almost cut through like the trappings of the devil as well. It can make you see the trappings, it can make you see the again, the temptation, the clouded thinking that can be used to sort of confuse a person or dupe a person into being in a situation that they necessarily don't want to be in. This can cut through all of that kind of energy. So yeah, do take heed of that. And because I think that energy can actually help you in terms of like these kind of other things that are showing up. So peace and many blessings to you guys. I hope August goes well for you. Love and light to you. I'll see you. Bye.